Good evening and welcome to another edition of EOH TV. My name is Rudi Barnard. I'm the head of the Technical Services Division for EOH Application Management. Tonight we're going to look at using your CMDB. So the agenda for tonight really is a recap on the value-added alignment, ensuring success, effective service modeling. Then we're going to delve into the CMDB and we're going to look at our delivery models. So let's just recap quickly on the value-added alignment. We were saying that organizations require visibility and control of application performance and availability while aligning the IT and business initiatives and priorities. What we're really going to focus on tonight is how do we achieve this? How do we get to a point where we can actually proactively detect, prioritize, isolate, diagnose, and prevent performance and availability issues of business critical applications and services? That really starts with your CMDB. So if we really look at how do we successfully manage your IT business initiatives, organizations require these 4 points. What we're really going to focus on tonight is improving your visibility into these initiatives once they're in production from a business and an IT architecture point of view. So tonight we're going to look at the IT architecture component of it. So how do we do this? So as we said again, there's various different layers at which we need data. What we really want to focus on tonight is your configuration management database with dependency mapping as a foundation, because this is really where everything starts. Now, if you remember again in some of the previous sessions we've had, we were talking about effective service modeling. Now, to do proper effective service modeling, you really need to start at the bottom and understand which components architecturally make up a business service. So if you want to end up with an integrated architecture view like the one that you see here, we normally start off by asking an organization's architecture for an architectural diagram of a specific business application or business service. And they then end up giving you an architecture diagram that's probably out of date and that's really not the latest version. Also, it's very possible that there's components on this IT architecture diagram that aren't mentioned, aren't showed, like external interfaces, third-party interfaces, etc. So we really find it very difficult sometimes to cover an organization's applications monitoring from an enterprise point of view if we don't have up-to-date information as to what this architecture looks like. So the CMDB is really going to aid us in determining that, and the big driver for this is that this information should be dynamic. It should not be a static view like the one that you're looking at right now. So let's start off. If we look at the CMDB, the biggest mistake we see organizations make is that they use the CMDB purely as an asset management function. So they really just want to know what assets they have out there, what the configuration data is of these assets, and they pretty much populate the CMDB for that function. Now, at its core, this is probably the first thing that you do with a product is to scan an environment. You take an IP range, you do a scan, and you basically detect all of the infrastructure components that are available. For any one of these CIs, so configuration items that are picked up, you will see various information. So you'll see CPU information, file system, OS, process, memory, and various other components depending on the scan. So let's quickly talk about what we're doing here. The technology that we really use to do this is called HP DDM, Discovery and Dependency Mapping. So this technology is an agent list technology that really uses a spiral scan mechanism to scan down to OS level, down to application and database level to understand what is running per CI or machine out there in your landscape. So when you do the very first scan, this is the sort of information that you get. Now, once you have this information, you obviously want to make logical sense of this information. And what that means is you need to tie all of these IT components together so that they all map back to different layers within a business service. So such a view can be seen in this diagram, where we took a vending system of one of our customers, and we did a scan of that IP range that this vending system is deployed into. So what we did is through specific logic that we've written into DDM, you will find that we now have the ability to basically break down the order vending system into the multiple tiers that make up that service which they provide. So their integration layer, their admin, their web layer, their security modules, database, etc. Now, this view is a dynamic view. Immediately, if a new server were to be added into, let's say, the web layer, it would immediately pop into this diagram, and we would immediately see which machines are actually transacting with that specific machine popping into this view. Equally so, if a machine was removed, you would be able to see that. You can also see the traffic that flows between these devices and how they are dependent on one another from a traffic perspective. You will also be able to see which components, if we look at the admin server component on the left hand side of your screen in the middle, you'll see that there are two admin servers. The one we can see there's traffic flowing through it, meaning that's the live instance, and the other one is the standby instance. So you can account for these sort of scenarios as well. What is live, what is standby? We now have the capability to identify as change occurs on any one of these devices, whether it be an OS change, a patch change, whether it were to be an application configuration change, a database change, it really doesn't matter. If there is a change that occurs, we're going to understand and know about this change. Now, with this technology, we have the ability to obviously hook into your change management product, and we will be able to then tell you if the change that has been picked up, whether that was a officially logged change or an unlogged change. Now, another function of this is to have the ability to sit in a cab and discuss changes that are going to occur tonight or tomorrow, whenever your change cycle is. So you would want to know there's going to be a change on a specific CI. We can then do a what-if scenario in a view that's similar to this one that you see over here, where we can say a change is going to occur, we're going to change the network interface on our database component, and what impact could that potentially have? And this would give you an impact analysis of what could potentially be impacted. And based on that information, you can now decide what the risk is and whether that change can go ahead or not. I think another one of the biggest benefits from this is if you have multiple changes and you find that 3 or 4 changes are actually occurring within the same architecture for a specific business service, you'll be able to now visualize that and see that, and then go back to your governance or process and say, but according to our governance standards, it basically defines that we can only do 2 changes within a specific environment. So let's select the 2 priority changes and have them go forward, and let's do the rest at a later stage. So immediately you can start making these sort of informed decisions, which organizations really don't have. You get a list of changes that has to happen. You believe that whatever the guy wrote on the document was true, and you will take that as fact. So if they say it's a minor change, it's got minor impact, the guys basically approve it and it's done. This really enables you to manage that risk and understand what would be impacted by a change. So now let's go and look at actual standards or CI comparisons. So one of the key functions that's great from this product is that you have the ability to define what is called a gold standard. So if you were rolling out Windows 2008 servers, let's say Windows 2008 servers into your environment, and you have a specific standard for them, in terms of patch levels, etc., you can define a standard and go scan that standard against every Windows server within your environment, and it will come up with a report that will show you which machines actually do not comply to your standard. Equally, if we look at it from a business service or application perspective, the view that you're looking at here is 2 servers that we took within the web layer of the vending service that I showed you earlier. And we're taking 2 of the web servers and we're comparing the configuration of these 2 servers to one another. And you'll be able to see in here that the JVM versions on these 2 machines actually differ. And now all of a sudden we can provide this information back to our application people, and they can remedy this problem and ensure that the configurations are on par. So if we, as we said again, this product is an agentless technology. It's not a monitoring technology. It's a spiral scan that happens on a periodic basis, which you specify. So most of our customers normally do this once per day. And at the end of that, you will get a change report, which will identify which changes have occurred. Now, what you're looking at here is a specific CI. So we were looking at a specific machine. We were looking at the MySQL server configuration file. And what we're showing you in here is what the initial value was for that file, looking at the clustered value. So you can see the IS clustered value equals 1. After the change actually occurred and the change that was picked up, you can see that the clustered value now is 0. So now all of a sudden you have the ability to not only know that change occurred, you also have the ability to understand what the value was previous to the change and what it was afterwards. So if there's anything wrong with your system today and something goes wrong and you know that a change has occurred, you immediately know what to roll it back to. So this is really powerful stuff. So guys, that's pretty much it for today's session on the CMDB. We will have a technical demonstration of this in a later session where we will show you this live in production on a customer site. So if we look at our delivery models yet again, as we've said previously, we have pure implementation services where we can come and build and implement your CMDB for you. We have a co-sourced solution where you can own the infrastructure, for argument's sake. We will come in and we will provide the software and the services purely a straightforward service from that perspective, or we can have a hybrid model depending on however your organization is structured. So we're really flexible from a co-sourcing perspective. Your people, our people, it really doesn't matter. So from an outsource point of view, we can do a full outsource for you of the entire service, or we can obviously do a software as a service from the cloud to provide this ability to you through the cloud. And again, benefits of this is you can focus on your key business. We will provide this to you as a turnkey solution. It is more cost effective, and at the end of the day, we find that our customers have a lot more value out of this, and they are not dependent on specific people to get information. So that is it for tonight. You can go and view some other related topics that we have, enterprise monitoring that we've done, where we basically go through the theory behind enterprise monitoring. Executive visibility is an up and coming video that will be available soon that will take you through the visualization that we provide to executives. The benefits of diagnostics is a video that we're going to cover application container monitoring and code monitoring, queue and database monitoring down to a diagnostic level. And then lastly, we're also going to do the benefits of integrating EUM and diagnostics within the HP BSM suite. That's it. That's all for me for now, and we'll talk soon.